Hi everyone, this is Ronald again, coming back with item 4. We shall now read through and then we go to solutions. Mukasa wants to start a business selling school stationery items in your skill. He plans to sell 3 types of items: pens, notebooks, and erasers. He knows that for the business to succeed, the probability that a learner will buy at least 2 types of these items should be greater than 0.5. A study carried out at your school shows that 158 learners buy pens, 130 buy notebooks, and 188 buy erasers. Also, 40 learners buy both pens and notebooks, 80 buy both erasers and notebooks, 88 buy both pens and erasers, and 10 learners don't buy any of the 3 items. The number of learners who buy all the 3 items is equal to the number of learners who buy only pens and notebooks. Task A. Determine the number of learners who buy all the 3 items to at least 2 items. B. Will Mukasa's business succeed? Give a reason for your answer. So members, this item comes from section B part 1, where we find the theme, data and probability for item 3 and 4. And the topics we find there are 4. We have graphs, we have probability, we have set theory, and matrices. So at this point, I also have statistics, by the way. But at this point, this item combines the topics of probability and set theory. So we can go through solutions very fast. And we are going to start with task A. As you can see clearly, because this task A is more of set, we shall need to look at the scenario. We capture these numbers. They are the ones we are going to use. We shall draw a Venn diagram to represent the information, and then the Venn diagram will be useful while attempting Roman 1 and Roman 2 of task A. So we go very fast to solutions. So we shall let P, N, and E represent the learners who buy pens, notebooks, and erasers respectively. So these symbols are the ones we are going to use on the Venn diagram. So let us summarize the information provided in the scenario. Number of P is 158. Number of learners who buy notebooks is 130. Number of learners who buy erasers is 188. This is the number of learners who buy pens and notebooks is 40. Number of learners who buy erasers and notebooks is 80. Number of learners who buy pens and erasers is 88. Number of learners who do not buy any of the 3 is 10. That is represented by number of P union N union E complement. So these 10 will be outside the 3 sets. So since on a Venn diagram we fill in starting from the innermost region, we shall first let X to be number of learners who buy all the 3 items, and then we proceed to the Venn diagram. I told you in this item or under this theme, you are supposed to write a title because it is always scored. So we say a Venn diagram for the information, and then we proceed to draw the Venn diagram. There are 3 sets, P, N, and E, and for each set we represent number of learners. That is the number of P 158, number of N is 130, number of E is 188. So filling in starts from the innermost region. We shall start from the innermost region here. So this region is for learners who buy all the 3 items, and this one is X. Then we can move ahead to this one. Here you are standing in P intersection N. We are given P intersection N as 40. So P intersection N is 40, meaning that 40 is for the whole of this part. And since it should be 40 and we already have x inside, then we shall have to fill here using 40 minus x, such that when you add them together, you get 40. So that will be 40 minus x. When you come here, this is any intersection E only. But since we don't have E intersection N only, and we have intersection N, we shall use minus, and that will be 80 minus x. When you come to this part is for P intersection E only. When you come back to the scenario, P intersection E is 88. We don't have P intersection E only. So to make sure it remains 88, we shall use 88 minus x. Then for these other parts remaining, you can let this one to be A, maybe this one to be B, and this one to be C. So what we do here, we are going to find expressions for A, B, and C in terms of x. We all know that if we add everything in this circle, we should get 158. So you will say A plus 40 minus x plus 88 minus x is equal to 158. And then you solve for A, you will end up with an expression for A that you can place there. You repeat the same procedures to find the expression for B here by adding everything inside here, and you solve for B and you equate to 130. Here you will say 88 minus x plus 80 minus x plus is equal to 188, and you solve for C. So once you do that and you try to solve for A, B, and C, step by step, the expressions you have got, you will get array. For A, you will get 30 plus x. For B, you get 10 plus x. And for C, you will get 20 plus x. Then they had also provided 10 for learners who do not buy any of the 3 items. So 10 will be outside here. It shouldn't belong to any of the 3 sets. So now to solve for x, since we don't have the universal, we are not going to add all these and equate to the universal. Instead, what we are going to do is to go back to the scenario and look for a statement that will help us get the value of x. Look here, they had said that the number of learners who buy all the 3 items is equal to the number of learners who buy only pens and notebooks. Learners who buy all the 3 items is equal to the number of learners who buy only pens and notebooks. So we are going to interpret that statement also, and we see how to help us. So we proceed and we say the number of learners who buy all the 3 items is equal to the number of learners who buy only pens and notebooks, i.e. number of P intersection N intersection E is equal to number of P intersection N only. According to this diagram, number of runners who buy all the 3 items is represented by X, and number of runners who buy only pens and notebooks only is represented by this 40 minus x. So we substitute those. X will be equal to 40 minus x. So to solve for x, you can bring this x to the left hand side and it will be added, because to the right it is negative. When it crosses to the left, it will be added, and we shall get 2x is equal to 40. When you solve for x, you divide by 2 both sides and get x as 20. So when you go back, they had asked us in part 1, they wanted us to determine the number of runners who buy all of the 3 items. And then we determine the number of learners who buy at least 2 items. So for 3 items, that is the x we had, which is 20. So we can proceed and find those who buy at least 2 items. So for at least 2 items, we need to check 2 items. We shall consider those who at least 2 means 2 or more. So we shall consider those who buy 2 and those who buy 3. So we shall consider this part this one for 2 and this one for 3. So we are going to get x, which is 20, plus 80 minus x here, which is 60, plus 88 minus x, which is 68, plus 40 minus x, which is 20. So when you add, you get 168 learners. So 168 learners buy at least 2 items. So we can even draw a Venn diagram to represent the real values for each region of the Venn. For each region of the set. So we can draw it very fast, and that's what we shall have in each part. When you substitute x is equal to 20 in each of the region of the Venn diagram, this is what we shall get. So now we can proceed to the last part. The last part, they are asking us, will Mukasa's business succeed? Give a reason for your answer. So check clearly here. If you check back, they said that Mukasa knows that for the business to succeed, the probability that a learner will buy at least 2 types of these items should be greater than 0.5. So in order to respond to this part B, to tell whether Mukasa's business will succeed, we need to find the probability that a learner will buy at least 2 types of items, such that if it is greater than 0.5, we conclude that the business will succeed. If less than 0.5, we say the business will not succeed. So let's go there. So since we already know that the number of runners who buy at least 2 items is 168, we shall now get the probability as 168. It will be 168 here out of number of universal, because that is our number of sample space. Our number of sample space is the number of universal, but we are not provided with the number of universal, so we can add all these ones. We can get, to add quickly, you get this one is 158 inside, you add 30, you add 60, plus 40, plus 10, and that's what we have here. So it will be 168 over that, which gives 168 over 298. You will need to express this one as a decimal so that you can easily compare with the value provided in the scenario. So when you get 168 divided by 298, you get 0.5638, which is greater than 0.5. So we are going to conclude that Mukasa's business will succeed, since the probability that a learner will buy at least 2 types of items is greater than 0.5. So basically, that's how you conclude, and that marks the end of this item. Thank you.